So, hello everyone. Welcome if you are new to the channel. Welcome back if you love me. I love you too. We are here for a bonus Sagittarius reading. Typically I roll my dice or something, but I was just super guided to read for our Sag gangs. So, if you're feeling it like I'm feeling it, because I'm a Sag stellium, okay? Sag Sun and stellium, then you know we've got a lot of stuff aspecting our house. Like, there's nothing in Sagittarius currently that's aspecting our shit. But Lilith is pinging back and forth between Leo, which trines our sign, and it's popping into Virgo, which squares our sign. Then we just got Saturn that popped into Pisces, and if you're like me, with a 1-degree Saturn Mercury conjunction, then you are dealing with a Saturn square right now. Not to mention, you know, Mars and Gemini is opposing. So there's a lot of mutability going on, and of course we cannot fail to mention, hey Rita, how you doing? We cannot fail to mention all the fucking shit that's still in Aries and packing. Right, the sun's gonna be in there tomorrow with the moon. We have the new moon tomorrow. If you all want to catch, I will be live tomorrow for the moon event. So we'll be doing the secret codename moon event, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you pop back in. Don't miss it. It'll be sometime after I'm done work. I get done work at 4:30 CDT time zone, so it'll be sometime after 4:30. Also, the reading that I'm going to be doing for Sag energies today. Not just Sag Suns, but if you have significant Sagittarian placements in your chart, because that particular house that Sag rules for you is being hit by all of these things, right? It's being hit by all of these things. The squares, the oppositions, the trines from malefics like Lilith. Then you know that, you know, whatever house is ruled by Sag for you, it's taking some serious challenge. So I'm going to be doing this reading like I do my duality readings. If you're not familiar with the duality readings, yeah, Sag gang. If you're not familiar with the duality readings, I read masculine or yang energy within the self. What is the masculine is what goes on in the mind. It's the shot calling aspect. It's the willpower, the drive, the choice, what goes on inside the mind, right? The thoughts. The feminine energy is the yin. It's the receptive energy. It's the way we receive the experience, right? How we feel about it after we receive the experience. It's our intuition. It's our sensing. It's our emotions, right? So I'm going to be reading Sagittarius in a duality styled reading, the way that I do for my Divine Rebel memberships, my Divine Rebel Diamonds. If you do like the way this is set up and you can appreciate collective messages every week and a personal reading potentially on Sundays, then I would highly recommend signing up and joining us as a Divine Rebel member. Okay, the link to join us with membership to the channel is in the description. All right, I have made it affordable for everybody. So if you like this setup, then you will definitely like the Divine Duality weekly reports and the personal reads that I do on Sunday for my members. All right. Shout out to all of you. I love you. I love you, Miss Rita, Miss Lala. I love you. So here we go. I am going to be using my Fairies Oracle for overall energy. I'm also going to be using the Mythic Tarot, which I have not used yet on the channel, but I'm excited to use it on the channel. And I'm also using the Wildwood Tarot. And then I'm going to be pulling guidance at the end from the Oracle of the Dragon Fae. All right, so overall energy. Spirit, please, what does our Sag gang need to know? The house in which Sagittarius rules for them. Help them see whatever they need to see in their highest good at this time, in divine time, whenever they catch it. right? Time works in a spiral. The planets at the same degrees and all of the signs, like the hands on a clock, at the same numbers every day. So what message would you like to have come through for our Sagittarian energies? That's way too many. It's like 6. I just want... We don't need to do a whole reading with the overall. Thanks, Spirit, for the support. Let us get one. What card above all others as an overall theme for this Sagittarian energy, why you would have me reading at this divine time? It's interesting because I'm seeing flashes of certain cards. Penelope Dreamweaver, Tom the Poet, and the Journeyman. I'm going to put them back because I'm not going to take all 3, but we were talking a lot about dreams with the Divine Rebel members the past like week or 2 weeks. There was a lot going on about dreams. I think even the collective message that I did public for the channel was heavy on dreams, heavy on communication with Tom the Poet and the Journeyman. So definitely forward movement via dream state, things being communicated, like divine poetry. All right, so we went from 5 to 3 to 2. The Loam and Least, the Moon's Daughter. Still about forward momentum. It's about coming back from feeling tattered, right? Coming back from feeling tattered, being worn. You see her wings are broken and worn, and she's kind of in this contemplative state, and then there's this huge forward movement, this glow up, right? So honesty. Honesty. My Sag gangs knows that honesty is no problem for us, and so maybe this is just a sheer reminder to have faith and believe in it, right? Especially if it is something that you struggle with, if you have malefics or painful or harsh aspects to your Sagittarian house or placements, a reminder that honesty is the best policy, no matter how afraid you are of the truth. Like, I was even having this conversation with my son playing D&D over the weekend, because he was up against a foe that was really powerful, and he was afraid it was going to kill him and kill his kill his NPC party. And I caught him saying ×4 when it should have been ×2 with his damage rolls, and I was like, you mean 2, right? And he got caught, right? He got caught, and he's like, I didn't want it to kill me. And I'm like, it's all good. You know, like, if you think about it, I'm the GM, right? I'm the dungeon master, the game master. I was like, if I want to have a mermaid come rescue you, you know, like, I could do that. The campaign doesn't really end until I say it does. So I tried to remind him, like, just to let the dice be what the dice are. Like, the dice gods know all, you know what I mean? And not to stress too much about it, but to just be honest and play with the roll of the dice and let it be, right? Because in faith, the divine will always work its magic for you. But I told him, I said, if you cheat again, like, the campaign's done. Like, that's the fastest way to end the campaign. It's not dying to some foe, it's cheating. So, you know, learning about honesty. You know what? Let me read. I was going to keep going, and Spirit's like, read a little. So, okay. Card number 40. So if there's a message in here, it might be specific for you. Okay. Here we go. Honesty. Keywords are honesty, compassion, tact, and self-deceit. It says, just look at him. Could you doubt for a moment that he sees you just as you are and loves you anyway? In plant form, which is how we may see him most often, honesty makes lovely purple flowers in the spring and later on produces those silvery white circular seed pods, like small images of the moon. These little earth moon seed pods remind us to reflect upon our reactions and feelings, to throw light into our darknesses, and to deal honestly with ourselves and others. Honesty speaks, unsurprisingly, of the need for straight dealing and truth in representation. We need to be scrupulously honest here, making certain that there is no room for confusion or misunderstanding and no fuzzy edges. Both written and verbal agreements need to be completely clear. Assumptions may not be as well understood by all parties as we are assuming, and they need to be tested for comprehension. On a personal level, honesty reminds us not only to be clear in what we say and do, but also to act and speak with compassion and tact. Brutal honesty is not usually true honesty at all, but somehow slanted toward the worst. Dishonesty, even in the name of tact, is not helpful either. Balancing on that fine line of loving honesty may take some effort, but will provide rich rewards. Honest humility, idealism, and clarity of mind are some of the advantages of honesty. You know, sometimes we might think someone's a fucking asshole, and sometimes they are a fucking asshole. You're speaking to one of the most brutally honest Sages, right? Sometimes they are an asshole. Sometimes people need to be called out on their shit. And sometimes there is probably a way to say it better. There's probably a better way to say it. Like, instead of calling someone an asshole and I'm fucking done and whatever, just be like, listen, I think we've grown apart. I don't feel the same way that I used to. I think we're better off just respectfully appreciating what it was and going separate ways, you know what I mean? And leaving it at that. Like, that's honest. It's honest. It doesn't have to be brutal. And you could say it very clearly without losing, you know, what you're actually trying to get across and get accomplished by being afraid to speak the truth, right? Be honest. So, with that being the overall, what is going on with the masculine energy, the yang energy, the mind, the choices? What are we thinking about, choosing about, willing, right? What are we creating? The masculine is the yang, is the creative energy. It is what we choose. So what are we thinking about? We've got the Four of Cups in the reverse. All of the cards in my deck are upright. Or at least they usually are. Well, that's divine. Okay. Super divine. All right, clarities, please. Clarify the Four of Cups reversed. All right, we've got the Nine of Cups under the Four of Cups reversed. We have the King of Cups underneath the Knight of Swords, the Knight of Wands underneath the Hermit, and the Queen of Wands underneath the Page of Swords reversed. Bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles. Top of the deck is Temperance, Sag. That is your card. It is in reverse. All of my cards were upright. How did that happen? That's so crazy. I must have fucking did it while I was shuffling. Didn't fucking realize it. But if they come out in reverse, I leave them that way. The divine knows what the fuck it's doing. But I'm definitely flipping them back upright. All right, so Temperance in reverse on top. Sag, you may actually be having a hard time alchemizing or accepting the bad with the good, right? There may be a focus too much on one and not the other. Not seeing all of the good that has come from the bad, right? You might see what has been good for you from it. Maybe you don't see what's been good for other people. You know what I mean? Like, even if it was a bad situation and you've had to, you know, leave it behind, you may not see all the good that it's done, that you went through the loss. You may even be having a really hard time holding on to your playful light, your angelic light, right? God knows. I mean, if this, being a Sag myself, I mean, I feel that. I was feeling that earlier today, like going back and thinking through all of the different things, right? Because this sun moon in Aries that we're having tomorrow is literally going to be trining on my Saturn Mercury conjunction. And it's aspecting on my Cancer moon, and it's my Venus, right? My Venus in Scorpio. I'm having like a crazy water trine right now going off with the sun at 29 degrees Pisces. The moon's not far behind. So, I mean, I've been reflecting a lot, right? Thoughts, Mercury, Saturn, reflecting a lot on things that in the past were painful. Like, even though I'm good now and I'm happy now, reflecting back on how people were and wondering why, like why they were the way they were. Why did they perceive things the way they did? Why did they react the way they did? Why did they project, right, such pain onto the experience I was having with them, right? Because the pain that we feel, especially empaths, the pain that we feel is not our own. It's the pain being projected at us from other people, and we feel it, and we feel it personally, but it's not ours. It's their pain that we're feeling. And I got really sad. I was not sad myself, but sad for people, right? Sad for people that they would be in such pain and need me to understand it, right? That I would feel the projection of it and be called to try and understand it. And it pulled me quite out of this beautiful energy, you know what I mean? This alchemizing energy. It put me in a space where I didn't actually feel like getting close to people. You know what I mean? Because every time I allowed myself to get close to people, it resulted in things that were very painful to feel, you know, to where, like, I love my soul family. I love my closest soul friends, and I appreciate their presence in my life, and more so because they're not actually able to be close to me. Like, I've found sovereignty and solace in being isolated, because whenever I allow people close to my energy, it hurts. And I had a moment earlier. I was listening to Ocean Only here on YouTube. He's great, by the way. If you want an excellent astrologer, not astrologer, tarot reader, he's great. And I felt like I'll put it this way, because maybe you feel the same way. I don't want to lose the playful angel that I got to be in the lives of other people. I don't want to lose the beautiful alchemy that people have felt around me. But at the same time, it's like the very thought, it's like wanting a hug and needing a hug, but being afraid to be hugged. Because if someone hugs you and they give you love, they could take it, right? It's this weird space between wanting to be there for people like an angel, but tired of being a hurt angel, right? Tired of being the angel that gets hurt. And I feel like that might be something on the conscious mind, right? What we're thinking about. And therefore, we're focusing a lot on King of Pentacles energy. The Ace of Pentacles is under that. We're looking to transform our world, right? We're looking to transform our world from what was once very disappointing and getting into this higher energy, right? We don't want to act, there's this lack of focus on the emotion. It's Pentacles and Wands. Which is interesting because we have the Two of Cups under that, and it's Eros, right? It's Eros. And he sees the woman who is typically on the Two of Swords, and she's tied up like the Eight of Swords, and he's behind her, but she's in the middle of the ocean, right? She's just got her one lone cup there. Eros has the other, and it's almost like Spirit's planning to bring in someone, and it's like this fear of burden, this fear of failure and sabotage. I'll put it to you like this. If you're in a divine space of not being guided to be with anyone, and people make advancements in your direction, like, don't force yourself, though. Like, you might miss certain things about it, but if you're going through a healing process, it wouldn't actually serve you or anyone if you forced yourself when you weren't excited to jump into it, right? Being that playful angel. If you're not ready to jump into it, then don't force yourself, because karma's a C-U-N-T named Saturn in Pisces squaring Sag's house. You know what I mean? Lilith can be a C-U-N-T, and she's popping in and out of Virgo, which is squaring Sag's house. So don't force yourself into things that you are not divinely excited and ready for. Okay? God knows I've had opportunity present itself. Some of them were hell fucking knows, and other ones were nice possibilities. But ultimately, like, I don't want to get locked down with anything or anyone, you know what I mean? I'm not there right now, you know? And I don't want to pretend with people because I don't want to hurt people. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm processing. I'm not necessarily a hurt person, but I'm still processing hurts that have been experienced to make sense of them so that they don't, you know, present themselves in some surprise form if I've chosen to move forward prematurely. There's a lot, right? There's a lot that requires patience. So if you're focusing on your money and you're focusing on your stability and you're focusing on potentially getting a home, If you're focusing on fresh new beginnings and you're focusing on your abundance, like, then do that. If you want to transform your world, if you want to be able to have enough, right? This idea of plenty with the grapevines, like if you want to have enough to be able to give to other people, because this death card, like there's 3 people here and the hands are open. The hands are open and it's like not wanting to show up empty-handed or feeling like a charity case. Like you don't want love because someone feels bad for you. You know what I mean? I certainly don't. Like, you're gonna love me and care about me because you feel bad for me? Why? Why do that? I mean, do it if you love loving and you're guided to do that. Don't do it because you feel pity, you know what I mean? Or feel bad because I choose to be alone or I choose to focus on other things, you know? We're all entitled to heal. We're all allowed to claim it. I mean, if we're being honest, not everybody who is alone is lonely. Not all who wander are lost. I myself am quite content. I don't necessarily want it disturbed. I've had a whole life of chaos. Whole life of chaos. For the first time in 37 years, I'm actually experiencing peace, and it's in isolation, right? It's the removal of people. I pray for people. It's fucking sad. It's fucking sad. The way people perceive things, the way they twist things in their heads, it's like, where did you go? Like, where did you go that you arrived at that thought and was like, yup, that's it? Like, I hold prayer and space for you. Because I don't know how you arrived there, let alone believed it, you know? Some people are, healing in places that I no longer care to visit. I'll put it that way. I think if you're watching this reading or resonating this reading and you feel like you've been to hell and back for people, you're not ready to jump back into hell for someone else. You've been there. It's not pretty. It's not pleasant, you know? Especially if you've done it a few times. Especially if you've done it a few times. With the cards down here, the 4 of Cups in reverse, clarified by the 9 of Cups. Which I find interesting because the three people who are typically celebrating on the 3 of Cups card are sitting here with the 4 Cups. And they're both, if you look at the card closely, they're both going like this. The girl's on the side. And the girl in the middle is sitting there, but she's not talking. She's holding these wilted lilies. It reminds me of the energy, where was it? Where was it? That 2 of Cups card. Where did it go? So anyway, it reminds me of the girl that was wrapped up with the rope that Eros was holding the other cup. It's like they're listening, but she's not saying anything. If you have friends who are asking you if you're all right, like, don't say you're all right if you're not. You don't necessarily have to blurt out everything right, brutally honest, and just unload a bunch of shit, but you can be tactful in how you speak it, right, honestly. It's almost like you had a wish and thought it was answered. It's almost like Eros shot you with the arrow, but the only one that was there was Eros. And so it's like falling in love with Eros, but Eros is not of this world. You know what I mean? So it's like getting the wish, but not getting the wish because you fell in love, but Eros had to go. We have this Venus energy present on the card. That's Venus, the goddess Venus. This deck has a lot of mythology attached to it. Makes me curious. The Knight of Swords in the reverse with the King of Cups. The King of Cups in this deck is Cancerian. The different cardinal signs rule the kings in this particular deck. And with this, you know, Geminian energy moving into Cancerian energy, yeah, I love this deck. I had been eyeballing it for a while, Skag. I paid damn near $200 for it. I'm just shit you not. It's not easy to find the deck with the book. But yeah, this is, it's almost being unwilling, right? Because the Knight of Swords is communication more often than not. And it's almost like being unwilling to communicate because of this tune that you're singing in nurturance of the self. It's like reflecting. You know, like Eros, if you think about it, Eros is in our birth charts. It's also Cupido. There's an asteroid, Cupido, that represents the same energy. And sometimes we feel struck by someone, right? We feel struck by someone, but they can't stay. And it's almost like romantic or otherwise. Like people that we feel so drawn to, that we give so much to. And then it just, not only does it fall apart, but it almost like ends really badly. Like those type of energies. And I feel like you're unwilling to rehash the past, right? This Hermit card with the Knight of Wands. I feel as if you are mentally, right? This is the masculine energy. I feel as if you are mentally reflecting on the mythical parts of you that were shot at. We have this mythical creature down here with an arrow straight through it. The Knight of Wands is riding Pegasus. And he's looking down and seeing the magical beast, right? He's seeing the magical beast wounded. It's almost like you've been on this journey of the self, like seeing the magic in other people, but they're wounded. And just because you see them, just because you try and rescue them, doesn't mean that they're going to make it. The Page of Swords clarified by the Queen of Wands. Leo energy. I feel as if this is, because the Page of Swords is literally like blowing clouds, which looks like blowing smoke, and it's in the reverse. It's like unwilling to be naive, remembering when you were naive, almost missing it. I think I even wrote that earlier. my Facebook post on the Myths of Magic Rising page. You know, part of us might miss being naive when we knew better or didn't know better, because now that we do, right, it's like we won't allow ourselves to feel that instinct to want to save or rescue. You know what I mean? For $16, I'm jealous. Really. Like, you're not playing games. I think, Sag, mentally you're going through your own alchemy. I think you're going through your own alchemy. And I think that you're on the opposite side of a test. Okay, I don't feel like you're being tested. I feel like you've already been tested. And now that you've started coming into this new element, right? It's like from lead to gold. Now that you're transitioning beyond the catalyst, it's like the gold is starting to settle into itself. You know what I mean? The alchemical process. I think you're beyond the lead. I think you're beyond the catalyst. I think it's the gold that's forming. And I don't know if you've actually, I think you're in this space where you haven't actually adjusted to the new self yet. Because with the wisdom and the knowledge that you've gained through the catalytic trials that you've dealt with, you're not the same, right? You may still be driven. You might still love the same things. You might still enjoy the same, you know, activities. Like, I still love astrology. I'm still, you know, work oriented and, you know, motivated to do certain things. I still love cooking. I still, you know, love to play D&D with my son. Like, there's a lot of things about me that are the same. I still love art. I love to paint. I still like all of this stuff. But my perception of reaction and energies with other people, the interaction of other energies with people has shifted, right? I myself am very much the same, but I'm also incredibly different, right? And I feel like that's where you're thinking about. I think that's where you're learning how to recognize the self without having it attached to the catalyzing agent, the catalyst that got you here, and how painful that was, being essentially pulled apart, right? The lead being pulled apart in order to be reformed into what is this gold. Being able to see the value of yourself and appreciating the value of yourself, despite the fact that it was quite unpleasant to get you here. All right. Let's see where the feminine is. The feminine energy. The yin, how we feel about the experience. What our intuition is sensing. The emotions, right? This is the receptive part of the self. The subconscious. The driver behind the thoughts. What is going on with the feminine energy for my beautiful Sagittarian gang? We have the Empress. We have the Knight of Bows in the reverse. And the Three of Bows. Give me one more. You would be so kind, Spirit. And the Page of Vessels. All right, clarities, please. 5 of arrows, the 8 of arrows, the 6 of arrows, and the Ace of Stone. Bottom of the deck is the 2 of Vessels. Top of the deck is the 8 of Bows. Not a lot of focus on emotion. A lot of swords and a lot of wands, which is bows and arrows. If we look here, right, back at the masculine energy, the mythical creature that was shot by the arrow, we also have them shooting at it here, clarifying the Empress, the divine feminine, the heart space, and its power, right? The Empress is the divine feminine, and its power is what was being shot at. The mind is thinking about it, right? We're thinking about how the beautiful heart that we've had for people, this mythical creature that is not supposed to exist, right? This unconditional love, this selfless, self-sacrificing love that is not supposed to exist, right? It's the unicorn, was shot at. And so with the Knight of Wands here and the Knight of Wands here, it's an unwillingness to... It's an unwillingness to get trapped in the mind again. The feminine here is literally in the cold by herself with the Hermit's lantern, arrows shot all around her feet. There's an unwillingness to go back to being that person, an unwillingness to go back to being the person that loves in ways that others do not believe exists. Right? People would say, no one's actually fucking genuine. No one actually fucking loves like that. No one would actually love me like that. You know what I mean? Like, they don't believe it exists. People tell you they love you because they want something. People can be bought for a price, like, and you were loving in this unicorn angel way. Like, you were a legit angel in someone's life, and now there's an unwillingness to go back to the mythical creature that no one believes is real anymore. The 8 of Bows on top with the 2 of Cups on top, the 2 of Vessels, is Spirit is trying to get across to you, or your heart is trying to get across to you, that really the 9 of Arrows is underneath the 2 of Vessels. It's dedication with the pole star, which is the North Star. It's our guiding light. It's on the bottom of the deck. Your soulmates have been dedicated to your healing. You had a responsibility to stabilize within yourself. This was a big part of the journey, the transformation of things, the work. It required a lot of work. It required a lot of soulmates to come through this lifetime and help you heal so that it wasn't a failure, so that you could become the true green woman, the union within the self, to find joy in being yourself, to experience happiness with or without people. The Three of Bows has this Kundalini rising energy on it. She's wearing it. And it's clarified by the Six of Arrows, which the boat is a swan. It's a swan. The Page of Vessels, or the Otter, clarified by the Ace of Stones, the foundation of life. Joy is the foundation. Otters are very playful. We were talking about, you know, you having this playful angel energy. That Ace of Pentacles, right, is the Ace of Stones. It's like a milestone or a marker, this beginning that you're in, this heart space that you have found yourself in. You've reached a milestone. Remember that all of the people, if we're going to speak honestly, remember that all of the people in your life that projected the pain that they were feeling within, that they absorbed from the outer experience, all of the pain that they projected at you, that you took personally in order to feel it and understand it, the pain of other people, that it was truly to help you understand yourself, to put you in a place where you could be happy in isolation. Where before maybe you hated it, where before maybe you couldn't stand being alone, where you felt lonely and you had these longings, and it was incredibly uncomfortable to be in relationships and out of one. Painful to be involved with friendship circles and painful to have none. Where life was a constant state of pain with and pain without, and it's like having to take the lesser of two evils. And having to acknowledge that they're both still evil. They're both still evils, right? Putting yourself through this alchemization process, this alchemical process, puts you in a position to be happy with or without people. You can enjoy people when they're around. You can enjoy yourself when they're not. That's the big difference, right? You have found your value. Hold forgiveness, you know what I mean? If you still have pained feelings reflecting back on people that have hurt you, right, broken you or robbed you of your light in some way, like, it's not really gone. You know what I mean? Your light's not really gone. Your ability to love isn't gone. They didn't take anything from you that could not be replaced or improved on. They can't take anything that is you, right? They can't take your essence, but they can catalyze you into something else. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, if we're going to be honest, like old Grace, right, would go above and beyond and pour and just fucking pour energy into people. And in the end, it just left me empty. It just left me empty. Feeling empty. Feeling like I had nothing left, right? feeling like I had nothing left to give. And then it was never returned, right? It was never reciprocated. Old Grace would give and fingers crossed hope for one day it would be returned, right? It would be an even exchange, an equal exchange, an exchange, like I love you and one day you'll heal and love me back. And I was grossly disappointed, like a lot, like a lot. And it's like having the awareness to know what I'm capable of giving, but the healthy boundary mindset to know when to stop. So that empty doesn't happen. So that I don't miss a couple drops being given as opposed to pouring the whole cup. You know, like, yeah, you can have a sip. Don't chug it. Don't drink the whole thing. I need some too. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't necessarily miss the result. I do miss that feeling of loving so much that I could just pour endlessly. It would be nice, speaking honestly, to be able to do that and pour like that into someone who was also pouring instead of feeling this, you know, fingers crossed, maybe they'll heal and give it back one day type thing. Be nice to just have something reciprocal from the gate. And Grace before didn't understand it. You know what I mean? Grace before didn't understand that. You can't empty yourself enough to heal someone else. Other people have to choose their own healing. And if they're not healed and they're not ready to heal or they're unwilling to heal, then don't pour. Then don't pour. Know that you're capable of pouring. Know what beautiful energy that is to be capable of pouring. But if they're not willing to pour with you, and cheers, let's drink up together. If they are unwilling to pour with you, don't pour. I miss that feeling of being crazy in love. I miss it. I miss pouring. I loved pouring. But I don't miss being drained. I don't miss being drained. I don't miss being used to quench someone else's thirst so that they have all the energy they need to go off in another fucking direction. Like, it's like, thanks for the beautiful love you gave me, and bye. Like, now that I'm full with love, I'm gonna go give it to someone else. It's like, glad to be of service. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Jesus. Like, fuck you. Can the Sag in me come out for a second? Like, he took all my love and took off. Fuck you. Like, shit. God bless you, you asshole. God bless. Like, oh my God. That had to come out. I'm sorry. Oh, shit. All right, Spirit, what's the fucking guidance? What's the guidance? For my beautiful fucking Sag gang, our earth angels, right? Our beautiful pourers. Sag energy has some of the biggest fucking hearts. They really do. They really do. People get all pissed when a Sag burns them, but they don't understand why the Sag flipped a switch, right? Mutability, and fucking burned them. Fucking oblivious. Interesting. The Lady Alfreda, justice will prevail. The Sovereign, gentle power. Infernia, clarity. Interesting. Cards 13, 38, and 43. Let's just read some snips from these. The Lady Alfreda, justice will prevail. The Lady Alfreda speaks. Know you this, that whatsoever you send out, you attract back to you the power of 3. Intent has energy, as do thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and once released, this vibrational thought field radiates out and attracts back to you that which was sent out. This is the law of the threefold return, an ancient law that the wise ones have known of for many a year, though many of the humans have refused to listen to its wisdom. Do not be afraid of this truth. See it as a source of freedom. For all that you send out will return. There is no other place for it to go. The law is the law. It is time to get real and own what you have previously blamed on others. This does not mean blaming yourself. Instead, work on shifting your karmic residue and understanding the connections between what you have sent out and what you have created. Issues of law, justice, and karma. Fearful thoughts around what you see to be the darkness or blackness. Not understanding just how the natural law works. Thus, this card asks you to look at your intentions and to clear space. Make friends with the shadow and thank it for the lessons. You know, looking back at our old selves, right? All the love that was put out, all of the well-wishing intentions for other people, understanding the shadow, that what comes back to you, the karma of it all, the justice of it all, like, for those who have pure hearts and pure intentions, no matter what the experience yields, the result of all of the experiences together is the karma. It's the beauty of it all. You know, like, I started this reading saying, like, I'm happy with where I am. I have found peace for the first time in 37 years. And to be fair, all the pouring that I've done, it's all that I've wanted for other people. I just wanted them to find peace. They were hurt souls, damaged souls, souls in the middle of their own chaos and conflict, right? Damage. You find it. You find it. It doesn't necessarily always look the way you thought it would, but you find it. And from that space, you manifest more, right? The law of attraction, the law of intention. If you intend for the healing of others, you yourself will find healing, right? That is the law. If you intend for others to heal, if you intend for others to feel loved, then that is what you'll receive. You'll receive healing. You'll learn how to feel loved from yourself. And from there, that manifests in the outer, right? The Sovereign. The sovereign speaks. It is not our desire to possess power, but to radiate it out in ever-increasing waves, sending these seedlings of empowerment into the world, taking root in all your hearts. We do not hold on. We allow this power to extend out and to flow and to be yours too. To be a queen, to be the sovereign of your world, is not what so many beings feel and dream it to be. It is not about the instant fulfillment of whimsical desires, nor is it the power of enjoying personal luxury while others suffer and lament. It is to be a caretaker and an example to all. I ask you now that if you wish to be treated as royal and as the sovereign in your world, you must become truly royal. Care for the others around you, walk amongst them, bear yourself with dignity and courage no matter the circumstance, and know that no small thing is too humble to be of interest to you. Look around your world and see where you have confused the fulfillment of desire with the role of sovereign. And take up the mantle of that role in your life now. It is no burden, but it is a responsibility. You are a queen. You are sovereign. You are the one who creates your world. Like it or not, you are the one who must change the order of what is and bring about the change you wish to see elsewhere by bringing it forth from within yourself. Refusing to acknowledge yourself as the creator in your world, blaming authority figures, or seeing only the trappings and not the humanity and the responsibility, being too influenced by others who see you as successful, powerful others, thus giving away your power. Not taking care of the little things in your own domain and seeing what is yours now as unworthy of great care or interest. Right, you create. We were talking about the old version of the self and how we see things differently and choose things differently. Like, yes, we know what we're capable of, but when do we allow that to exist? You know, the beautiful part of me that loves people and wants to help serve all people hasn't gone away. God knows, I saw a guy riding his bike home from work and I was like, you rode your bike in the cold? I was like, dude, just take my number. Like, if you need a ride, call me. If the weather is shitty, like, don't feel like you need to ride to work in 36 degrees and rain. Like, fuck that. I'll give you a ride. I'll bring you home. The beautiful angel in us doesn't leave. It's just a matter of when you choose to allow it to be present. I gave a girl at my work I bought a bunch of fucking headbands off of Temu. She's got a young daughter. And I just gave her a bunch of them. And I knew she'd give her daughter some to share with her. And of course her daughter claimed them. She sent me a picture. She was like, yeah, my daughter claimed this one. She said, it's mine now, Mom. And I was like, oh. You know? You don't necessarily have to pour everything into one person, but you could say, here, you could take a sip. You don't have to let yourself be anything short of the Empress, right? Look at the synchronicities on those cards. Fernia. Fernia speaks. I wish to be honest with you, so you understand what it is you think and feel you are wishing for. Do you understand that in order for you to be in connection with all you feel you desire, that there will be what many consider to be sacrifices along the way? Do you understand that what we can offer you is shelter, yes, soft and sweet, tender and shaded beneath the heat of the sun, a place to rest and sleep and dream? But do you also know that others will say you dwell in a fantasy land and what you dream of cannot be? Consider the truth of what it is you wish for, and know that whatever you commit to, expectations play no part in this promise I make to you. Because I do pledge to shelter you and introduce you to magics and show you the ways of the dragon fae folk, and to help you tend the little ones with me. But I also promise you this, that your supposed nirvana will be muddy and dirty and difficult at times. There is no way for this to be what you fantasize about. You will need to care for yourself and to allow others to be who they are. For this is the path of clarity, knowing who you are and the part you play in all things. Leave your expectations behind and be prepared to discover more magic than you ever thought possible. Do not seek to possess anything, and know that you are free to choose in every moment if you will go on. Do you understand that if you wish to be of this realm, and yourself entirely, that you will give up some old ways of thinking? Otherwise, you may find yourself hurt by the conflict such incompatible thoughts and feelings will bring. When Fernia shows up, she is asking you to consider honestly and clearly what it is you expect to gain from the situation currently before you. It could be that you are fascinated with another person or path, and Fernia will ask you to return to within, to find that source within yourself. When she appears, there may be people around wishing to possess and own you, and she encourages you to be free and to find the right place for you. Fernia is all about being in the right place under the right conditions for you and then flourishing. She will also ask you to seek out independence and to say what is and is not right for you. To be clear about this in gentle and loving ways. Her sheltering ways have led many others to flourish beneath the gentle shade she casts and the pools of water she gathers for the baby dragon fae to drink. She shelters and yet she shields. You are that contradiction, that magical paradox too. Never let anyone tell you that you are weak. Beware too. Those who may be obsessively, quote unquote, in love with you at this time. People who can develop crushes and wish to be with you, and yet do not understand who you truly are and the delicacy of your needs and desires. You fascinate them. But this does not mean you must uproot yourself, or that could mean your unique nature may not survive. Best to let those who profess to love you so come to you when this card makes her gentle but so beguiling appearance. Beginning to understand the impulses and flux and flow of romantic love as opposed to the love between souls that is steadfast and timeless. This is a reminder that when you feel the impulse or the obsessed thoughts, right? When the wheels start to spin and you start to wonder what they're doing, what they're up to, why haven't they messaged you yet, right? When we get into those states of being, that we really do need to go within the self and bring that kind of attention to ourself. And that when others are showing us that kind of attention, if it really is the place for us to be. Fernia asks us to be clear, right? Clarity. I feel, Sag, that you've come a really long way. And I think that those feelings in the past of wanting to dive in and pour out for other people has taught a very valuable lesson. And that when you feel that way, it really is time to love yourself. When those feelings come up, because they might be gone for now, but that doesn't mean they will be gone forever. It's a reminder that when those feelings come up, to remember to focus on loving yourself, and the rest will happen when it's meant to happen. If it is indeed meant to happen. But to not pour if someone's not ready to pour with you. Right? And to maybe not allow another to pour if you yourself are not ready to pour. Had a conversation about that on Facebook too. I had some fucking 20-something. Some 20-some-odd-year-old, couple of them, just in a matter of like a month, who just wanted to pour. They were like completely infatuated with me, and I was just like, listen, like, respectfully, I appreciate the fact that you feel what you feel, but no. Like, no, you're closer in age to my son than you are to me. No. Respectfully, you should probably get the idea of us out, because that's not going to happen. You know? Like, just because you can take advantage of the fact that people want to pour doesn't mean you should. I didn't like people taking advantage of the fact that I was willing to pour. So I won't do that to other people. Don't forget, you can choose. Just because someone is infatuated or obsessed or wants to know everything about you, or they don't know why they're so drawn to you, they just feel this attraction to you, like, just because they feel it doesn't mean you have to humor it. Doesn't mean you can't be honest with them. And I think that message is complete. So, I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow for the new moon in Aries, the live secret codename event. And I will see my beautiful Divine Rebel Diamonds probably also throughout this week, because I'm going to start putting up April readings. My Divine Rebel Diamond members are going to be getting their zodiac monthly reads first. And then I'll be putting up separate videos for the public of the channel after. All right, so until next time, Soul Fam, stay beautiful, stay shining, stay sovereign. Take care.